Hello, freaky friends. It's just your friendly neighborhood horror writer, Tia. It's in the middle of the night. You know how it is when you have those creative juices flowing and you just can't get it out of your mind and you have to get up and do something about it. Well, that's what I've been doing. Tonight's mainly about research. I'm delving into one of the main creatures in my second book, The Wendigo Rising. Trying not to wake anybody up. And Wendigo Rising has Wendigos. Oh my goodness, who saw that coming? But I'm really getting excited writing my book. I'm finally getting to the parts that I've been dying to get to. You know, I want to just write the action parts or the horror parts and things like that, but I have to do a lot of build up and character development and all that other stuff to get to the juicy parts. And while I'm doing this and I'm getting my characters into place and that kind of thing, I'm really delving into what is a Wendigo. I really love the study of cryptozoology, or the study of monsters, myths, and folklore. I'm not sure when I first heard the name Wendigo, but it has been a creature that has always kind of fascinated me, and it is distinctly a North American, Native American monster, and a demonic form, however you want to look at it. And I definitely wanted to bring it into my book. Of course, I'm going to have to tweak it a little bit for it to fit my universe and my story, but I'm going to try to keep it as pure to the original stories and warnings and things like that. But as I'm reading, I'm like, man, this thing's terrifying. I really don't have to do much to it. I might have to pull it back just a little bit. But, well, what the fuck is a Wendigo? Well, a Wendigo is it is a monster, like a human turning into a monster, or a human being possessed by a spirit or demon, or it can just be the spirit. It represents a creature that is associated with famine, hunger, starvation, cannibalism, murder of the most heinous sort, greed, and just not just regular greed, like insatiable, like you could never get enough of whatever it is that you're looking at or after. Mainly the most horrible things you could think of among the Native American culture, and the punishment would be becoming the Wendigo, whether becoming the physical monster or being possessed by the spirit, or the spirit hunting you. Now, there are many things that the Wendigo is. It is something between a werewolf and a zombie. If you really want to kind of European it, you know, get the European kind of point of view. But it is a creature not necessarily born into it, like, you know, with werewolves, it's like the seventh son of the seventh son, or family tradition, or you get bit and then you become the werewolf, or you're cursed. It is something that you bring onto yourself by committing a sin. And the most common sin is cannibalism. And it's not a zombie because it's a thinking, hunting, reasoning thing, though it has the insatiable hunger that a zombie has. So it's always hungry. It's like the person is living its own personal hell of never being able to consume enough to ever be full. So something in between, you know, the werewolf and the zombie, and it's something even more wonderfully horrible and terrifying, something in between. The Wendigo folklore and myth is mainly found on the Atlantic coast near the Great Lakes and up into Canada. It needs that winter, that cold, that isolation. It is definitely linked to the coldest, darkest parts of the year where you're on your own and food is scarce, starvation, famine, struggle. And it is related to the tribes that speak Algonquin. And I'm probably mispronouncing that, so please forgive me. And those tribes that speak that particular language among themselves, and some of the tribes have a little differing points of view of what the Wendigo does. So you have the basic, creature that is hunting and searching and looking for something to fill its gut, but it's never going to get that satisfaction. So it's just this desperate hunger, and it is the embodiment of starvation. It is the embodiment of gluttony that never gets fulfilled. But to some of the other tribes that are among the Algonquin speaking peoples believe that the Wendigo was 7-10 feet tall, that it took on attributes of whatever it ate. So, if it ate a deer, it could grow the antlers, or it could, get the eyesight of this, or have the power to do that, or anything like that. And then some tribes believe that the Wendigo was able to speak and call out the name of whoever they were hunting. And I find that very eerie and, a little unnerving. And it's just the spirit reaching out to you to come out into the darkness. Now let's get into what causes the Wendigo to become a Wendigo. It is usually cannibalism of some sort, or, murder, greed, that kind of thing, or some other taboo. But the most common thing that I've run across is people cannibalizing the ones they love. And there is a actual recorded instance of the Wendigo in, I believe, 1878. So the story goes, and there's many different tellings, but Swift Runner came into town after the storm finally passed, and it was a big winter storm. You're isolated. They were like 25 miles, he and his family, wife and 5 children, and some accounts his mother-in-law too, but I'm not sure about that part. And when he came back in spring, when they was finally able to come to town, he reported that his whole family had died from starvation. But everyone kind of noticed that he was well fit and well fed. As the story goes, when they went to check it out, he had told them that his first son had died, and he ate him, and he killed the rest of his family and ate them as well. And that is a mortal sin to most everyone, anywhere. And this can create an opening for the Wendigo to enter you, or you can become a Wendigo, and that's when you kill your family. I kind of like the idea that you have to commit the act before the Wendigo can have a doorway in. But that's just me and my own views on demon possession. But, he really honestly believed that he had been possessed by the Wendigo spirit. Even as they hung him, he still was like, no, the Wendigo possessed me. I did it, but the Wendigo possessed me. And he didn't turn into the creature, the monster. But this led into a documented psychosis, Wendigo psychosis. And it's where you believe that you become the Wendigo. Most of the time it's related to you do this sin, and then your culture, your society, and the guilt makes you believe that you become the Wendigo. There's also werewolf psychosis and vampire psychosis, and it's very interesting in how these develop, but that's a whole nother thing. But I'm reading these stories, and some of them are about the actual creatures attacking campsites, that kind of thing. And I have to admit, these true tales of whatever might have happened is very unsettling, because there's some kind of, I don't know, as I'm reading it, there's some ring of truth. And I'm just overly excited about using this folklore, the Wendigo, in my book, because I feel like that is a creature that doesn't get used very well, or to its fullest, and for all of its potential. There are a few movies out like Ravenous and things like that, but I don't think it really delves into what the Wendigo really is. And I'm hoping that I can work that into my book, The Wendigo Rising. They're one of the big bads, but they're not the big bad in my second book. And I really wanted to do a creature feature with my second book, because I really wanted that kind of challenge, because it's a totally different animal than what my first book was, which was, yes, it had demon possession and vampires and werewolves and that kind of thing, but this one's a little bit more raw, and it's a different kind of subtlety that you have to approach it with. Instead of civilized hunting, this is just raw and animal and primal, and I can't wait to see when I get the Wendigo and the werewolves all in the same place and see what happens. So I'm very excited, and I hope you join me on this journey of me writing my second book. And if you're curious about me and what I write about, check out The Lesser Devil. It's available on Amazon, print and on ebook. And I love horror. I love writing horror. My vampires don't sparkle. My demons are nice and evil, and my werewolves kick ass, and they're not pining over some girl. I love what I do, and I really hope you join me on this journey of writing my second book. I'm just really excited about it. And share with me about some of the favorite things that you've got to research in your own projects. Thank you for joining me tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I make videos every other Monday. Don't forget to comment below. Tell me some of the things that you like to research about. Do you have any information about the Wendigo I should know? Or any creature, actually. I'm all about it. Till next time, may the night protect you as you protect the night.